Today, June 12th, is known as Loving Day, marking the celebration of the day the Supreme Court struck down states' bans against interracial marriage. The day is named after the interracial couple Richard and Mildred Loving, who were at the center of the case in 1967. Joining us now to discuss this is Dr. Antipas Harris. He's the president of the T.D. Jakes School of Divinity, and the author of the book is Christianity, the White Man's Religion. Welcome, Dr. Harris.
Marcus, it's a blessing to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
The anniversary of the Supreme Court's landmark decision to legalize interracial marriage comes at a time when racial tension is heightened once again in America. Why is this still an issue in 2020?
Because racism is a socio-ideological stronghold in our culture, as well as a spiritual stronghold. And we have changed law after law over time, but the pervasive social construct that is inherent in the American experiment remains. And there are systems in place to sustain that socio-ideological stronghold. And so what we're faced with now are drip by drip laws that are changed, but not the structures that underpin them.
5 decades since that decision, interracial marriages have increased dramatically. What message does that send?
Well, that human agency is resisting the lingering socio-ideological constructs that remain intact. And interracial marriage implies hope, in my view, for a deracialized society for the future. As you know, marriage, I believe, is foundational to the present and future of society, and marriages and families will shift the future of the world. And this is why it's such an issue for some people.
Switching now to racism in the church. In a recent article, Christianity Today highlights that many white Christians were silent or even complicit in the face of slavery, and today have not taken this sin of racism with the gravity and seriousness it deserves. What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Harris?
Well, I believe that racism and white supremacy are sponsored and perpetuated with the arbitration of so-called Christian worldviews. We know that from the making of the New World. Colonization and racism are two sides of the same coin. And as a whole, the church has not lamented this. We've just moved from one phase to the next. And from Methodist to Baptist to the Pentecostal denominations, churches have followed culture over and over again. Even times when it seemed that we were going to have progress. And say, for instance, John Wesley started the Methodist movement as an abolitionist, telling Wilberforce to end slavery. That was in the 1700s. But by the time we got to the 1800s, Frederick Douglass, who was a Methodist, was preaching against slavery, and the Methodists told him he was a heretic. The same thing with the Baptists. They split. Southern Baptists split off to preserve slavery. Or we talk about Pentecostalism, which is my tradition. In the early 1900s, the Pentecostals boasted the washing away of the color line by the blood of Christ in the Pentecostal experience at Azusa Street. But by 1921, the church denominations had split. The Assemblies of God had split. The PAWUPC had split, all over racial reasons. So I think that part of it, that the culture has over and over again hijacked the theological claims, and I think the call of the church to end this racism that's part of the superstructure of the society.
All right, Dr. Antipas Harris, thank you for your time today, sir.